Welcome to Living the Tiny Art of.
Welcome to Art of Tiny Living.
Off exploring the mesa. This is northbound. We're looking for a crossroad that's supposed to be out here. Westward bound. Will we get to our destination before we have to walk into the sunset? Well, we're all but a few hundred feet from the most western edge closest to us of the mesa.
A treasure of old steel cans. Looks like another place over there for water or something.
Working our way back to the east. It seems every time we come out here we find something strange or peculiar and more beautiful each time. This is a shot of the M Mountain because Mel can't pronounce Magdalena. As we approached a little closer, we had hoped to go explore one of the old mines that was in this area, but unfortunately COVID had shut that down. So instead, we went to explore more ruins. So here we are at Fort Craig. But coming out to sites like this give us a sense of perspective as we ourselves are pioneering on our own piece of land. How others came and spent their lives long before us, knowing that at one point in time their eyes looked over these lands the same way that we look over ours. And as with history, all that remains are the signs. The Battle of Valverde was one of the last of the Civil War. Had a general named Kit Carson involved in it. Regiments from Socorro and other areas. Unfortunately, both sides took heavy casualties, and well, we all know how that turned out historically. But these once upon a time were the lands of Nana and Geronimo, long before the El Camino Real, the Royal Road, took in.
I wonder what happened to it.
It was probably collected by the quarters masters. It's a shame that a lot more of the ruins just don't exist out here. You know, they had hospitals and stables and enough for thousands of soldiers to exist on, and it's all gone. What we're pointing out is some differences in the building structures, those of the where the Spaniards had turned the property over to the Mexicans, but then how the buildings were then taken in and used by the U.S. cavalry. Yes, there in the background you can see the Mesa del Cantadero, or the Counters Mesa. Before this became a national park, or, well, a protected area, obviously people came out here and partied and trashed stuff. Lots and lots of broken glass that's just been out here for decades. It's really unfortunate, and it makes you wonder how many things that they disturbed and destroyed. A lot of those cans are certainly from the 60s and 70s. And when we talk about civilian life, it was mostly women. If your wife couldn't cook or sew or make uniforms, you had to fend for her yourself. As Mel works on her photographic techniques, it's kind of a shame that there's not more of the information in the structures. Yes, if you haven't been able to tell by now, our favorite time to go sightseeing is when it's too windy to sit at home up on the property. We're only getting like 30-mile-an-hour gusts today, though, so it's nice and pleasant. Not a mosquito to be found. So pretty much by the end of the Civil War and the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, the Confederate and Union troops moved into the area to claim stake against the Apache and Navajo tribes that were living and settled in this area. Yes, these are the defensive bastions. Supposedly they were bomb-proof, but of course teenagers in the 70s proved that that wasn't true, because they got bombed out here a lot. The landscape and the scenery is really nice. The proximity to the Rio Grande is really the important thing, why the Spaniards and then, of course, Union and Confederate soldiers wanted this area. Yeah, unfortunately, after 150 years, most of the buildings and materials and so forth just aren't too available anymore. This was apparently their parade ground area. It's not very large by any means, considering the size of the numbers of troops that they said that they had out here. And of course, it's had some modern adjustments to make sure it stays standing. Of course, I'm not sure that this was the original pole by any means. Most of the postings are 1867 or earlier. Keep in mind, New Mexico didn't become a state till 1912. So as we mosey on back to the car, again, we are artoftinyliving. Thanks for joining us on our little exploration of Fort Craig. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. See you again soon.